All right, all right, all right. It is time. All hail the Knights of the Gimmick table where we spit the truth at the infamous round table and your feelings get left at the door. I am Boogaloo. This is LowRyda and we are the Dead Presidents. Welcome.
What's up, everybody? What's going on? Thank you for tuning in. First and foremost, shout out to Cicadas for the awesome theme music for our intro, and shout out to Charles Redmond for putting that video together.
That's right. Hey, before we start, why don't we pay some bills?
All right, how about we get started with
sleeves. Yes. All right, let's go with sleeves. So, sleeves.com offers great quality products from arm sleeves, knee sleeves, headbands, tights, joggers, socks, and even dirty boxers. They even offer like mouth guards, any kind of athletic compression shorts, compression shirts. If you're an athlete, this is the store for you. So go ahead and go on sleeves.com and get your order now and use the promo code MWAPOD for your 10% discount.
All right, and how about healthvape.com? Health Vape sells healthy vaping alternatives. All of their products have no nicotine, no harmful or addictive chemicals, and they are vitamin infused. So make sure you pick yourself up some of their vape and pod products using our code MWAPOD for a discount.
All right. Let's shout out to the Realm Network. All right. Don't forget that this show is brought to you by MWA Podcast Network and the Realm Network also. So if you go on realmnetwork.com, you will get all of NWA Podcast Network shows as far as Shooting the Shit Uncensored with Pierce Austin, Knights of the Gimmick Table with your boys, the Dead Presidents, Get Funk with Alan Kwee Funk, and Killing the Business with the Kingpin Angel Medina, King Mega, and the Crisco Kid Glenn Sexton. Also, if you
get the exclusive views.
Yeah, before they drop on YouTube and everything else. But also, if you want to see, we got other live shows available to you. You want to go on that, Sean? Show them the links.
Yep.
We go. We got live shows available to you.
Right down there.
Click those, follow those links, click and subscribe. You will get our new shows, Wrestling with Sports, with me, LowRyda, and King Mega, or you'll get the Kingpin show with Angel Medina, the Kingpin, and Alan Kwee Funk, and also the NXT wrap up or roundup. What is it?
Bro, I'm horrible with this shit. It's one of the two, man.
It's an NXT roundup with Pierce Austin and Glenn Sexton. Hey guys, don't beat me up for messing up the name of your show. But hey, without further ado, let's get to our guest. He is the one, the only Babi Slymm. What's up?
What up, fam? Good to see y'all on here. Yeah, that.
Mr. Keep It Gangster.
Yeah.
Sir, AIG in the building.
What's up, brother? How you been, man? It's been a minute.
Man, I've been absolutely phenomenal, man. It's been a long time since we've collaborated, and things have been changed. Things have changed, of course, within the last 10 to 12 years. Family has extended, of course, and then being able to just run my own business right now. Being a full-time dad now, it's just been a life-changing moment for the better. But things have been absolutely great, man, on the up and up. So I'm excited, and I'm excited to be here tonight. So let's get it.
Awesome.
Yeah, man. Right, definitely, man. A lot has changed, right? You look since the last time we done hung out, man. You look like a completely different person.
Yeah.
Right on. Thank you. Yeah, that was another thing that a total of 125 pounds that I've dropped. And
wow.
I tell you, as I get older, I feel younger. And so it's just, it's been great, man.
You look younger.
Yeah, bro, you do. You definitely look
great. You look great, bro. Hey, so let me just go give a rundown. So I go to New Japan Dojo for a tryout, and I meet Babi Slymm there. I guess Homicide gave him a heads up and let him know I was coming down. And that's the first thing he was like, "Hey, where's my man Boogaloo at?" And I was like, "Oh." And then right there we clicked, man. I remember you took us out that night to the club in Anaheim. Boogaloo or whatever.
The Boogie.
Yeah, the Boogie. Yeah,
Boogie.
I was gonna say, what, they took you to a club named after you?
Yeah, man. It was pretty wild. I've never seen nothing like that. It's like we get in there, and as we drive into the place, the security was at the parking lot entrance. They make you pop your trunk to make sure you ain't got no guns or nothing in the car and all that stuff. Yeah. Never seen nothing like that before. We went in there. It was me, him, Damien, and Scorpio Sky.
Yep.
Yeah.
And that was kind of like the original for a while, man. And we used to go up there quite a bit. It was some good times, though.
It was pretty cool. I remember like he come by the hotel like just to change, and the guy that ran the hotel like had a heart attack. He's like, "No, man, you only paid for 2 people." I'm like, "He's just coming in with change. We're going out." Oh yeah, and then we stuck him in later on. He slept over.
Yeah, of course.
That's gotta be. That's the way you always gotta do it, right?
Yeah.
Always gotta pull the gimmick on the hotel.
Yeah.
Gotta get hey, we ain't got the money like that. We living in Santa Monica lifestyle.
Yeah, man.
God damn.
And then I went down to visit my man down at his crib in San Diego. Stayed out there for a week with him. We had a good time. Took me around, went to Petco. We did a lot of cool stuff.
Yeah. You see the Padres game live, man. Now they like running things in the West.
Yeah.
So,
I didn't think when they started spending that money, I'm like, where the hell are they getting all this money from? But they got it.
They didn't spend money for all them damn years. You gotta figure they had to have something saved up. They had all those damn prospects lined up, waiting to go. You know.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yep.
We'll see what happens. Everywhere I go, everybody's wearing the brown and gold, and I'm just like, where was this a year ago? Where was this 2 years ago? But now it's blowing up to where I was like, well, shoot, I got my old stuff in the back. I might as well get a few new things too while I'm at it. So,
man, that's cool, bro.
Yeah. San Diego's popping, the gas lamp district, all that. Mm-hmm. But hey, let's get this shit. I mean, let's get it started. Tell us about how you got into. Better yet, let's rewind. You're the youngest, right? Out of how many siblings?
So I got 3 older brothers, and I'm the baby of 4. Yeah. So.
And your brothers are your brothers a lot older than you?
So the age gap is 7 years, 12 years, and then 15 years.
Right.
Between the 3. So.
Yeah.
So,
and your brothers his brothers look just as young as him.
Yeah. And we all we still getting, man. Still gigging.
Yep.
That's what's up, man.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
So you're youngest of 4.
Yeah.
So, from what I know about you, you're African American and Japanese descent, right?
There's quite a few things. I did that 23andMe thing, and then when I got an update from it, it was black, and then there was like a lot of the European side. I think that's where the name Drake, my last name Drake, a lot of that came from the European side, and then there was other stuff like I guess Chinese and Indonesian and Portuguese, all this kind of mixed up stuff, and I was like, all right, cool. So, but majority of it is black, and the crazy thing is that, like you said, growing up with three older brothers, I was the youngest, right? Picked on quite a bit, not by them, right? But I was picked on in school, especially for being the fat kid. So not only was I the baby of the boys, but I was also the fat kid. So I get picked on. I got spit on a few times. I had signs put on my back. But I will say this though, like how you was kind of going into where it all started. When I was like 5 or 6 years old, I used to watch wrestling with my grandmother. And one of the first people that I saw was Ricky the Dragon Steamboat. And I was like, man, that dude is cool, right? He was like the superhero. And we were in the Bruce Lee growing up. And so he kind of resembled that Bruce Lee look. And I was like, ooh, I want to be like that dude. And ever since then, I was just always over wrestling. So that was kind of like my escape from reality, was looking into wrestling.
All right. Yeah, so were you out of all the siblings, you being the youngest, but you, like you said, were you bigger than your siblings when they were your age, or?
As far as, I was pretty round, I would say, and I didn't play like kid sports. I didn't do football. I didn't do wrestling. I didn't do any of that. I just played video games and watched, TV. So I was pretty round, I would say. I think when I was 12 years old, I weighed 255 pounds.
But you got to think about it. Like, you growing up in the 80s in California, and when stuff is popping, you know what I'm saying? So it's probably not that great to be out in the streets in the 80s at a young kid's age like you know what I'm saying? So I see like your mom, meeting your mom. I could see your mom is very nurturing. I could see her not wanting you out, running the streets. Right.
Yeah. And I mean, in growing up in Southeast San Diego, the area that we grew up in, it was even though we're in Southeast, I guess people call it urban area. We grew up, around gang areas, and so, but the street we grew up on is called Solola Avenue, and it was very family oriented. Even though people were still banging, they made sure that family was taken care of. So there was no, beef within that street because we all knew each other as more of a family deal than anything.
Right.
So people took care of each other.
Right. I hear you. Yeah, I'm just thinking like, you got the older brothers and stuff like that. So, and then you being the youngest, I know moms are protective of the babies, overprotective. Yeah. Like my son, they're super overprotective. My son, the only place he can sleep over is Chung's house.
Yeah. That's kind of how it's gonna be with our daughter.
Hey, as you start to get older, you start to once you have your own kid, you start to have them doubts like, do I want my daughter staying anywhere? So I kind of feel where your wife is coming from now, and obviously with family it's different, but I don't know if I'd ever let Callie sleep at anybody's house, you know what I'm saying? Any of her friends' house, and she's I'm gonna be like, I don't know about that. Let me vet her dad real quick.
What I'm saying is too is like, because we grew up in the 80s too in New York, and even back in the 80s, New York being this big melting pot, there was still a lot of racism. So like you could be in the wrong neighborhood and get chased by a bunch of like white people. Depending on what neighborhood you in, there was like a lot of racism going on back then. It is what it is. And then you're dealing with cops, and I'm the wrong color in the wrong neighborhood. And who the cops are gonna mess with? Me,
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
it is what it is.
That's unfortunate. Yeah, but you know what? We all here now, right? Not only as grown men, but as fathers, as husbands. And I'm telling you, man, like looking back when we were in our 20s, even into our 30s until now, it's just been, it's so wonderful to see like how things have changed for the better for us as husbands and fathers and family men. So it's been phenomenal.
So I remember us talking one time about kids, and you're like, "Oh, I'm never gonna have kids," and I'm like, "What?" And he's like, "No, I could never bring a kid into this crazy. This world is crazy. I can never bring a kid into this crazy world." And I'm like, "Come on, man, don't talk like that. It's important." And then now you started out with the 2 pit bulls, right?
Yeah, still have them right here.
And now you got a beautiful, beautiful daughter, gorgeous.
Thank you. Gorgeous. Yeah, a lot of that too. I don't want to dive too off of the main topic that we're talking about, but a lot of that too, there was a lot of things in my head that were being told to me when I was younger, and that had a lot to do with the religion. So that's why it was like, this world is crazy.
We're definitely gonna talk about the religion thing.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll get into it. Yeah, we're gonna get into it because you took me on that journey, which
I did. Yeah. And so
But so I'm trying to think. You had the daughter. It's a blessing, man. But you like you said, is everything comes full circle. Like you go back to everything's second nature. Is like your paternal instincts kick in and you're ready to go.
Mm-hmm.
But so you got into wrestling through Ricky the Dragon Steamboat. That's what caught your eye. Did you when did you decide? Hey, maybe I should. But you played football, right? You were a football player.
Yeah, I played football in high school.
Yeah, when you got older,
Mm-hmm. Did some track. Not running, but I did like discus and shot put.
Yeah, because how big were you in high school?
I was about 280 in high school, junior, senior year, and played defensive tackle, and then kind of transitioned over into junior college. About the same weight, but it wasn't like athletic weight. It was just like blob weight, and it just didn't look right. And athletic wise, I wasn't really there. My mindset wasn't even there. I was playing football more to be like, I play football and try to get girls, right? But my heart was in wrestling. I was like, man, I want to wrestle one of these days. And so it just started to take over. And junior college, we lost all 10 games. And I was like, man, I'm done with this. I dropped out of college. And so that's when things kind of started taking off. Yeah.
All right, so how'd you get into the business then?
So a good friend of mine in high school, he wanted to be a promoter, and he was like huge, like into the Mid-South wrestling. And so he was like, man, I want to be a promoter, and I know you want to wrestle. So we went to the house show down at then it was called the Sports Arena. Now it's the Pachanga Arena or something. And so they were handing out flyers after the show. And so one of the guys saw my friend, and he was like, my friend Mark, and he was like, man, look, like we can go try out, and you can go up there and trying to see what you could do. And it was in Bakersfield. Bakersfield is about a 3.5 hour drive from San Diego. And so I was like, all right, cool. So I started going up to Bakersfield.
Is that past Los Angeles? That's going north, right?
Yeah. Yep. And
Wow.
so it's about 45 minutes out past LA, like the main part of LA. And I started training there, hearing, whenever I could. And I'm telling you, talking about
drive to go
grass green. I mean, I'm talking about like grass diarrhea green, dog. I was like super duper green. And they were like, hey, you know what? We're gonna have you go in a battle royal. That's like kind of like how we all start out, right?
Yeah.
You put in a
We
battle
all start in
royal.
the battle royal, yeah. On the student show.
Yeah. You go in there, you get knocked out real quick, and then you get flipped out. So I did that. That was my first thing. I remember seeing Tank Abbott that day, and that was kind of like my first little, stunt of getting into the ring. And from then on, I just kept coming back, and slow start, 6 people in the crowd, 7 people in the crowd, 10. And it just kind of slowly, for like the first 3 to 4 years, it was a grind, man. It was a hell of a grind, but I did not stop.
And that was all in Bakersfield that this was going down?
Yeah, Bakersfield. There was a few shows here in San Diego, and they were very, very small. They have those, what is that, VA places or
what do they call them? Knights of Columbus and
yeah.
And what's the other thing called? I know what you're talking about.
Veterans Place.
Yeah, the Veterans Hall.
Oh man,
yeah,
I know what you mean. Yeah.
VFW.
And,
it'll be like 13 people in there. Yeah, the VFW, and it'll be like 13 people in there, and I come out, and they're like, "Who's this dude?" Right?
Yeah.
But I just wanted to be in the ring, man. I just wanted to wrestle.
Well,
so
that your size, you look like you belong. So you look like you belong more than half of us that put on strap up the boots. You know what I'm saying?
Right on. Thank you.
It's true.
And so I'd probably say about 4 years in is when I started to see things change. But I'll save that for the next.
All right. So so you were there. Was there anybody training in Bakersfield with you that we might know of?
Not necessarily. No, there was a guy that was running the place. His name was Joe Romano. And then from there was another guy. His name is DJ Darden. That was about it. And so people that, were kind of going back then, if I said a name, it probably would just go right under the radar. But then when I started doing more here in San Diego, because then more promotions started coming here in San Diego, and that's when I knew about B-Boy. That's when I found out more about CCW, and that's when I met Alcatraz, who and I are still best friends to this day. And so
how's he doing?
Alcatraz kind of started helping me. He's doing great, man. He's got his own coffee business going now.
Oh wow, that's awesome.
Yeah, so it's good to see him thriving and grinding. Yeah.
So
he kind of took me under and helped me out, and then from there kind of started putting in a good word for me. It took a little while to earn his respect, but eventually I did. And from there, him, and then later on Adam Pierce, they both kind of took me under their wing, had me go to different shows with them, told me what I was doing wrong, helped me out, and that's when things started to get better.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, you introduced me to like Adam Pierce and those guys because I really didn't know about them, and I started watching Adam Pierce's promos, and his stuff was unbelievable. Like for at that time, I don't know why he was never signed. I can't believe that they passed on this guy. Now he's working for them in the background, but he should have been a talent there a long time ago. This guy was amazing. Like the way he could talk and the promos he would cut in the ring. on the crowd. It was amazing. Like his work, he was just a worker, man. He could work. He didn't do nothing crazy. He just worked like a good old school style. I mean, perfect for TV. If you ask me,
and he
and
he had the
especially at that
mouthpiece
time.
that would get. He would have people literally like waiting outside to want to fight him. That's how good he is on the microphone.
Yeah,
I sit in the back and I'm just like, gosh, like, and then, but we're backstage and then, we're back home because he was living in San Diego at the time. And to see him as himself without character is just, night and day.
Yeah.
So did great.
So where'd you go from there?
So from there, things started to pick up. I started to do more stuff down here in San Diego. There was no more Bakersfield stuff. And there was a promotion here called WCWA. I did that for a while where I started like having my coworkers or friends, watching me wrestle in the ring, and they loved it. And I guess that hype from them kind of started having more LA talent come down. And then when the LA talent started coming down, they would put me with them, and it kind of started building up. So then in return, the LA talent was like, well, why don't you come up here and start doing Revolution Pro, AWS, and I was doing that for about a year or two, and then I think it was either Adam or Katraz that introduced me to Rick Bassman, and that was when UPW was on the map for me. And I've always seen UPW because I used to go to the shows when they were down here at Cane's. And that's when John Cena was known as Prototype, and they had
Joe, right?
They had Joe, yeah. So I knew Joe.
Young Samoa Joe, yeah.
Yeah, Victoria, or HBIC, she was at the time, and then quite a few others, and so then I started to see that, and I was like, that's my next goal, is to get to UPW, and that took about 6 years to finally get a shot at that.
Well, that was popping back then, UPW, and then was it not Dave Marquez was a part of that too, UPW?
I'm not sure if he might have been part of it. He might have been doing maybe like I'm not sure if he was part of UP. I know Rick Bassman, he was like the face of it. But I'm not sure if I knew Dave Marquez more in the New Japan when we were doing that.
Okay, yeah, that's when I met Dave. Dave's a cool dude too.
Super
yeah.
Cool. Yeah.
So UPW, that's pretty big. So was everybody else there with you? Was Adam and Alcatraz there working too?
Yeah. So at that time, the first show I went to was in Reno, Nevada, and then of course, where did I end up? In a battle royal again, right? Yeah. But it was all good, right? I'm part of this UPW thing that I've been chasing for a while, and at the time, it was Alcatraz, Adam Pearce, and Hardcore Kid, and they were known as like the SC Cartel or something like that, or the Hardcore Cartel or something. I forgot what the full name was. Like a trio, and they were good, man. Like the chemistry was there. They're very old school, and it turned out to be good. And so I ended up doing a battle royal, and then I had like a one-on-one match. And one of the things that I'll never forget, and I tell people, when I'm doing lives or whatever, when it comes to wrestling, later on, Rick Bassman was talking to me, and he was like, Slim, he's like, if you want to get to like WWF or WWE or anywhere else, you've got to change the way you look. You're just too big, and nobody's going to take you at that size. And how big were you at that size? At that time, I was like 330 pounds. Oh, wow. And I had no muscle. I had, I'm over here eating bad, and then I go perform a match, but I'm blowing up in the ring, and I'm just like, matches are like 8 minutes, and I'm already 1 minute into the match, just tired. But I didn't understand, right? And so when he told me that, it was kind of like a wake-up call. And it was good timing because at the time, kind of going back, my older brother Dorian was like, hey man, I've been telling you for years, you got to change the way, you look, dude, because you don't want to be feeling like that the whole time. He's like, the two best things you can invest in is your mind and in your body. And I just put those two together. In year 6 to year 7, I lost 80 pounds in 1 year. And things just went from like mid to like upper. And that's when Japan came, and Wrestling Society X came, XPW, and the WWE like dark matches and all that stuff. And so it just changed from how I looked then to how I looked at that time, and more things opened up. It was phenomenal.
Sweet.
So, you said XPW. Obviously, we went over there, and we with XPW. You were in there, and was that before? That was before Wrestling Society X, right?
Right.
Yeah, it was.
So that was pretty much like the start of your bigger promotions that you started running through and everything.
Right. When I was in XPW, I was still heavier. I started my journey of losing weight, so it was about 2005, and that's when I was teaming up with Truth, or Faith, or Killings. Yeah, and there was another guy. His name was Jay. He was from Colorado, and
that's Smokey Carmichael.
Smokey Carmichael. Okay. Yeah. So they had New Black Panthers East Coast, and they had New Black Panthers West Coast. So we were the West Coast.
Yeah, we were the East Coast.
And, okay. Yeah. And so they had us mobbing in together. And so XPW is a whole different experience, man. But man, did I love it, dude. And
we did too.
Yeah.
I can never say nothing bad about it. I thought Rob Black was awesome as a promoter, and just to talk to him, he talked to you like he knew you for years. You know what I'm saying? He never,
he wasn't coming in there trying to down talk people or anything, you know. And I'm sure he didn't know us at all, you know, when we got there, and he treated us, you know, great.
Yeah.
But sure.
So you guys, I forgot to ask you, what was your first gimmick? It wasn't always Babi Slymm, was it?
No, my first gimmick was Big Tony. I really had no type of character. I was like, I'm a big guy.
Big Tony?
Big Tony. Yeah, man.
I can just picture you. I'm great.
Yeah. Hey, can you just imagine? And now into the Hall of Fame, Big Tony, and I'm just like, yeah. It just didn't make any sense, right? But yeah, so let's talk about that. I'm gonna give a 30-second spiel on how all of that changed, because it was Big Tony, Killer Kane, Gangsta Abel. Like, I was trying to come up with something.
Killer Kane? It was Killer Kane, and then and what was the other one?
It was this other Gangsta Abel. It was like Kane and Abel, but it was like it that ran for about, I don't know, 10 seconds, and it just didn't work.
Okay.
But the cool part, so the name Babi Slymm, right? Or it started off with Big Babi Slymm, and it kind of caught on, and how that came about was, number one, when I grew up listening to different music, it was always gangster music, right?
Mm-hmm.
It was like NWA, Bloods and Crips, Quick, Pac, you know, all the West Coast gangster music, right? So I was trying to think
Mitchie
of this
Slick.
gangster persona. Mitchie Slick, yep, of course, represents Southeast. And having this gangster gimmick was like, how can I make it cool? Like, how can I make it attractive? Like, you don't want to be like a gangster and just like bring a bad name to it. You want to have something cool like hip hop gangster. So then I started getting into more like No Limit and Cash Money Records, right? And they had all the bling. And so at that time in 2001, when Cash Money was hot and No Limit started dropping down, I started to admire Birdman, Baby, and then his brother, Slim. So you have Brian Baby Williams and Ronald Slim Williams. And then I just collaborated the two, came up with Babi Slymm, and then had the whole gangster gimmick when I started doing the bandanas on my outfits, and just put the two together with the bling. And that's how I went from Big Tony to Babi Slymm.
All right. And the funny thing about those outfits, we became Keep It Gangster with you, and we got the outfits made too. We did the shorts, and you want to know something? We still wear them today in the ring.
That's cool.
We still rock them to this day in this ring. Yep.
Fucking held up. They held up. They held up great.
Yeah.
This dude was wearing them in the streets. Like he was on the streets wearing them like Teddy Hart with his Versace outfits.
Yeah, man. Be careful where I wore them, because there were shows, man, where we be in like Carson, California, and you can't wear red or blue. So I was like, I'm wearing white. I'm making sure I stay clear. That was, you know, you
didn't want to be wearing the wrong color, right?
Exactly. Exactly. So
Dang.
right on.
Yeah. All right, so XPW, you were over there, and you were there during the whole Messiah incident, right? The whole Messiah
Yeah.
fallout.
Mm-hmm.
That he got his thumb chopped off. I mean, so it sounded like a whole bunch of like
Yeah.
bull crap to me. But the funny thing about it was it America's Most Wanted aired about the Messiah
Mhm.
thing, and then they put the description of the two gentlemen that supposedly attacked Messiah, and one of them was you, and I think the other one was Ron Killings, right?
It was the other guy, Jay from Colorado. They
Oh,
didn't
Smokey
have
Carmichael.
Killings in there.
So yeah, it
Yeah.
was you and Smokey Carmichael that they
Yeah.
described.
Allegedly.
Yeah, and they had that. And I remember getting a phone call, and they were like, "Man, you got to watch out, dude, because they over here thinking that you did something." And I'm just like, I was at work, and I was like, I could prove everything. I was kind of scared. Though. I was like, I could prove everything that I was at work at the time that he's claiming that he got attacked. And
And Smokey was in Colorado.
yeah, I'm over here in San Diego, and I'm like, how we gonna do that? And we're both at home, or I'm working, or whatever.
Yeah.
And I proved everything I could, man. And we got let
They
off.
did they actually question you?
Yeah, I had a guy call me, and he asked questions, and he said, where were you at the time of blah 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 blah. And I said, hey, at this time I was working. I have my overtime sheet to let you know that I was working at the time. I could send it on to you. And he's like, yeah, send it on over. So I had to talk to my boss, send it on over. And then they asked other bunch of questions. Are you affiliated with XPW? Who who were you with at this time? And so they asked about 5 or 6 questions, but I was able to answer it to the point where they were like, okay, well, we'll let you know if we find out anything else. And they never called me back.
That's crazy, man.
Yeah.
I remember you telling me that story, and I was like, Jesus. It's like, what's the odds, man?
Right.
That's like one of the most biggest bullshit stories though of all times. I'm sitting on this couch, and these two black dudes walk in, and
they just walk into my
hey,
house.
what's up?
They came in right. I was playing video games, and they came in right behind my my roommate, and they walked in, and I kind of said what's up to them, and then she went out to walk the dog, and then I get robbed.
Right.
And my thumb gets cut off. Like, first of all, if my roommate isn't like, who the fuck are these dudes? If she don't know him and she ain't like, who the fuck are these dudes? And I'm just gonna look back and just be like, hey, what's up?
Yeah, exactly.
Hold on, let me just keep playing my video games. That's probably why they cut his thumbs off. They were like, look at this jackass. He's just gonna keep playing video games.
He probably heard it. He probably heard his thumb mashing the buttons. He's like, oh, it doesn't work anymore. Cut this sucker off.
Yeah,
how can I get extra bookings?
Came out of it though.
Huh?
It was wild. I'll take it, but one thing that it did kind of put a little shine on us, right? Where people wanted to know more, so they would book me for a match, but then they wanted to find out what was going on. So I was like, hey, even though I didn't do it, at least it got me here.
Let's bring in the guys from America's Most Wanted.
Yeah, let's bring in the thumb cutter.
That should have been your gimmick. Should have been your gimmick. You should have grabbed it by the arm.
Right.
So it came out with some shears, right? That's what they said they cut it off with like fucking shears.
Who walks around the street with shears? I'm just coming here for your thumb. I don't want nothing else in the house.
Well, no, because didn't he say they were trying to pull his pants off too?
Oh yeah, supposedly.
Yeah, try to cut his stuff off. Yeah. I should have handed out thumb drives at the time.
Oh man. So I remember being with you, and we had to go to Pro Wrestling Gorilla because you had to meet what was his name? Shima, and you had to give him your tape so you could get to what was it? What was his promotion? Torimon?
It was Dragon Gate.
Dragon Gate, yeah, okay.
Yeah. You
were trying to they wanted your stuff for Dragon Gate, and you handed your stuff to him, and then lo and behold, Babi Slymm goes to Japan. Tell us about that.
Yeah, so that was the dream. The dream was Japan more than anything. And when I showed up there, I combed all my hair out, took my hair out of the braids, and had a big old afro. And he was like, whoa, like, this is cool. Like, nice to meet you, right? And so at that time I've already lost, majority of the weight, the 80 pounds. And he was impressed by what he saw, and then I gave him some tapes, and I believe it was Chris Bosch and Sky, Scorpio Sky, who put in a good word for me. It was like, hey, like he's done a lot these last couple of years. I would
Mhm.
highly recommend him. And so when I started to talk to Sema, he asked if I can come out for a month, and then 2 months or 3 months, and I was like, yeah, sure, like whatever I could do to get out to Japan. And then from there, got my first trip out there. It was in June of 2006, and at that time, '06 was popping, and so took my first trip, and they gave me the name Cyber Gang at first, and they wanted me to team up with this guy who was Cyber Kong, and so we were part of this Muscle Outlaw team, and so it was okay. But then when I came back for the third time, that's when everything changed for the better. When I was on
So
Japan,
how many trips did you go out there for?
I went out there 4 times,
4 times.
and yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I remember the picture.
Go ahead, I'm listening.
Is it your puppies?
No, this is my daughter.
Oh, that what?
Yeah, yeah. She's playing with the iPad right now.
Okay.
Yeah, but the fourth, yeah. So I went out there 4 times.
And
Trips
you
number
stay.
3 and 4.
How long did you stay per tour? How long
So
were your
for a tour, I
tours?
was out there for about 2 weeks. At the time, I was still working a full-time job, right? So I
Yeah.
would just rack up my vacation hours, and then I would go out there on a tour, and then from there, come back and work and build up my hours again. But there were a few, like the last time that I went, I think I went unpaid for my primary job, but then I got paid out there when I was wrestling in Japan, and that was the best time, but it was also one of the most regrettable times for me.
Why is
I could
that?
dive into that.
What happened?
So I could dive into that now too. Um, why it was the best time and also the most regrettable time. So when I did trip number 3 and 4, I was coming back, and I didn't really like the Cyber Gang character because they wanted to put like a little mask over my face. And when I came back trip 3, that's when I had half of my hair in braids and half of my hair in an afro, and I had the comb, I had a grill in my mouth, and then they said, "I like this. I like this." They're like, "We want to have you be part of the Muscle Outlaws, and we're going to call you Muscle Gang," and it fit. So every time now, when I would come out as Muscle Gang, my hair would be in an afro, and I would walk through the crowd instead of walking to the ring, and all the women and the little kids would just run, and so they would run away from me, and the boys backstage loved it, and they were like, "This is what we want. Like this is perfect." And so then they were like, "Hey, can you start doing like a loud voice for entrance music?" And I was like, "Yeah, like let me know, like what else can I do to help out?" And so when they did the Wrestle Jam tour, um, I would pretty much be the villain that would scare all the people and destroy all the chairs that they set up and make all the women run away and the kids run away. But then at the end, the good guys would prevail over me, right? And it would take 3 of them to finally prevail over me, where the crowd just erupted. And that
Mhm.
happened trips 3 and 4. And on the fourth trip, um, my last show was in Kobe, Japan, and once again, threw all the chairs all over the place. It took about 5 minutes for things to get kind of set back up because they had to clean up everything. But at the end of the match, the baby faces went over, the crowd erupted. All of my Muscle Gang T-shirts sold out. Went back home with not only a great payday from the shows and also from the merchandise sales, but they upgraded my ticket to first class, and they were like, "We're ready to
Oh,
get you a
Damn.
working visa. Like we want to get you a working visa so you can come back." And that was the best time, but the most regrettable time was I ended up leaving my old primary job to start a new primary job. And my new primary job, I already told them that I had a potential booking. By this time, Dragon Gate promoted me on their billboards and on their flyers and magazines. And I ended up taking the new job, and I had to cancel my flight going back out to Japan. And from there, I never went back. And that was the biggest regret that I have in wrestling.
Wow.
because when I met you, you were working for a video game, like testing video games for cell phones, right, or something like that.
Right, right,
And that was the
right.
job. That was the job you had before you went to Japan. right?
Yeah, yeah. I've always been in computer software engineering, and so I just went from one to another because they paid better, and yeah, I don't know. I just knew bigger and better things were going to happen because it was a good group of us out there. It was Generico, El Generico. It was Pac or
Oh
Neville
wow. Yeah, you
Austin
Sami
Aries.
Zayn and Neville, yeah, Austin Aries. Oh wow.
Yeah, Austin Aries was out there. Um, there was Matt. I can't think of his name. Matt Seidel.
Okay, yeah.
He was another one. I think he worked as Evan Bourne. And there was a lot of us fellas out there, and I mean, we were just going, and I just messed it. I messed it up by accepting a new job, and I shouldn't have. Because I look back now, and I'm looking at a job versus like my dream, and I killed the dream for a job, and that still bothers me.
Yeah. Man, that's crazy. So you were out there. Was the money good out there?
The money was good. You got to look at it like,
Because
it
between
wasn't like,
your booking and your merchandising, that I would think the paydays were probably were pretty good, right?
yeah, the paydays were good. I was coming home, with, I would say, a good 4-digit payday, flying back to the States, from the merchandise sales and then from,
And that,
the shows itself.
and everything was paid for over there, so you weren't coming out of pocket because of the sponsors and stuff, right?
Right. I mean, dinner was paid for. The only thing, like, if I wanted to go to like 7-Eleven or a mini mart and buy something, I could.
Right.
But I mean, when you're staying in, hotels, hotels are paid for, your food, you go out to dinner with the OGs of Dragon Gate, like, you become this family, and you start to grow a liking from them. They respect you, and then
Mhm.
I just broke it. So it's almost like I blackballed myself from Japan, because when
Yeah.
I saw them like a couple years later, they greeted me and they said hello, but it wasn't the same
Ah.
as before because they put so much investment into my character,
Yeah,
and
because
I'm
you
the
said
one
they,
that.
yeah, because you said they had you on billboards. Now, let me ask you a question. If I remember, I think who was it, Carino, at one time when he was in 01, he was like going for 2 weeks, coming home for 2 weeks, going for 2 weeks, coming home for 2 weeks. Like he had a deal like that. Would that could they have done that for you, or maybe just stay there longer?
um yeah, if I had the opportunity to stay there longer, I would have, but the only caveat was just I had a full-time job too, so they wouldn't really allow me to take that much time off because I had to work.
But if you let's say because if you were making close to the same you were making at your job, your shoot job, or
Mhm.
more, would you have given the shoot job up to
Looking back at it
to stay in
now,
Grant?
yeah,
You probably should have,
yeah, yeah,
man.
but there's that what if, right? And
Yeah,
so,
that fear that you may not get paid. You
Yeah,
never know
but
how that,
but
wrestling.
him and Dragon Gate, he's the biggest man in Dragon Gate, pretty much, right? When you were there,
yeah, for that group, it was, yeah,
you
I mean, it was
probably
quite a few of us, right? But like I could have seen it more of like eventually how the groups were starting to form because there was three of us. It was Muscle Outlaws, there was Typhoon, and there was New Hazard. And just to see how it evolved, like there was more things in the pipeline I could have pursued,
yeah.
and I'll never know,
Because
right?
that
So,
right there, that's your foot in the door. Because I mean, let's say it didn't work
mhm,
out, you're already in Japan. New Japan's there, All Japan's there, and at that time, New Japan and All Japan were probably really hot. So was
mhm,
Noah, where you could have
right,
the world would have been yours once they would have saw you what you could do. Because bro, your highlight tape was unbelievable. You flying over the top rope, you doing
mhm,
moonsaults and stuff like that, bro. They could have put you anywhere.
mhm,
You could have went anywhere. I think
yeah,
that was like your foot in the door. Damn.
yeah. Because
Yeah,
when they offered me a working visa, they said, "Hey, we stamp in your passport. Hey, we want to get you like you could be here 6 months, and we'll take care of everything, right?" But yeah, that's why I call it the greatest
Wow,
regret.
man. You know what? We never talked about that before, and this is the first time I'm hearing it. I'm like, wow, that's crazy.
It's
Man.
kind of like what Chaos did, right? Chaos went out there and
He went
then
to 0-1.
yeah, he was out there, and then another promotion was interested, so he ended up going over to a different promotion, and now he's in freaking. He lives in China.
Yeah.
No, you remember Chaos? The All Money is Legal. Remember they used to ride with us?
Yeah.
So he went to 0-1. He went out there and paid his way to get out there, and they liked him, and he stayed out there, and they kept him. And then from there, like he went to another promotion, and now he's been in China for years now.
Yeah.
They started wrestling in China, and he's like a big star over there. Comes out to Stevie Wonder's part-time lover.
But see, that's dope, and like I admire that, right? Because you keep pushing, and even the guys today, when I see Scorpio Sky, or I see Tyler Black, or Seth Rollins, or when I see these guys on TV, they push through like a lot, and it's like to see them on there, it's like, man, I'm so proud of you, and I'll send them a DM, and I'll be like, hey dog, I just want to let you know, like, I am hella proud of you because you push through a lot, and you give up a lot to finally get to where you want to be.
Well, look who else was on shows with you, and he was in San Diego on shows with you, right? Daniel Bryan, right? American Dragon. Yeah, he was one of them rolling around with you out there. Yeah, amazing, man. Yeah,
and we actually, so it's a lot, and to see, like, that's what I'm happy for the boys, is like to see them out there. Even the Miz, like when we did stuff back then in UPW, like to see that, it's good.
Yeah, and you can see he really wanted it. He endured a lot, and he did it. He made it. My hats off to him.
Yeah.
Hey, but let me ask you a question. What the WWF stuff or your WWE stuff? Whatever came with that? What was your input on you for that?
Yeah,
because I can't see why.
So after the weight loss, it was more of like a look that I guess the backstage was looking for. But what I found out later, what helped me kind of get backstage and at least get my face in front of people, was my personality, I guess, and that I wasn't the type that's like coming in with an ego, coming in with this like, oh, I'm about to come in here and dominate. I just took a liking to people, respected people, right, and built great relationships. And they were like, hey, I think it was Frankie Kazarian and Adam Pearce that put in a good word for me to come backstage. And this was when it was in Anaheim, Bakersfield, and San Diego. They did a 3-day show. And they were like, yeah, like this guy, he'll be good. He has a good size, and you guys want to take a look at him. And so that's when I did Sunday Night Heat versus Eugene or Nick Dinsmore. And they were like, yeah, we like the way things turned out. And so that was pretty much it. And I did a few other stints, backstage, but it wasn't too much. At the time, Crime Time was a team there. And, so I would talk with them and pick their brain, but nothing really came of it after that. But that really wasn't my dream. Japan was my dream. And that's where I got to live that experience more than WWF.
Okay, that's dope. That's dope.
Yeah, the bucket list, man. Bucket list. You got to experience that Japan. That and you got that WWE. Sunday Night Heat time. In ring. Like for me, that was something huge for me. Like when I finally got that SmackDown match, I was like, man, this is like, this is, I'm good. After that, I was like, man, I don't need to do another thing, man. I'd be perfectly fine,
Right on.
But then they kept calling,
Right.
But so you did the what was that, UWF, right? The Urban Wrestling Federation thing. I remember that. Yeah, I remember he was on the damn poster.
What was that out of?
So what was that out of? Like what, Urban Wrestling in New York?
Oh, it was in New York?
That was in New York. And at the time, I think Rashi Brown was champ. I don't know what ended up happening, but Kevin Kleinrock, once again, one of the guys that was like, "Hey, I can get somebody out here for you." And me and Kevin Kleinrock have had a phenomenal relationship ever since FPW.
Very nice
And
guy.
from there, he got me out to Steve. Steve, I forgot his last name, but Steve was the guy that ran UWS, and he said, "Hey, we want you to come in," and it was kind of like a vacant championship match, and so they had me go up against Beast Ortiz, and put me over as a champ on that show.
Oh,
and then
snap.
after that, UWF just kind of went away, and
So you're saying, them putting the bell on you, you killed the promotion?
right, exactly. I can't carry anything, right? Can't carry a job, can't carry a promotion. Yeah. Right,
That's funny.
like,
so they brought you up to New York for that?
they brought me up to New York. Yep. And
What year was this?
Pardon me?
What year was this?
This was 2011. This was right after I got married, and it was in December of 2011. And
Yeah, how come you didn't call me? I was up there. You could have called me. Hey, man.
I'm not sure what happened at that. That was 10 years ago.
She's like, hey,
I'm not
Boogie,
sure
I'm
what
here.
happened.
Let me crash at your crib.
Right. I'm not sure what happened. But this was like the hip hop music and wrestling together.
That was the gimmick that. But I think J Train was there. They had a couple of the guys from that we did shows with up.
Was it Tony Mamaluke on that too?
I just remember G's was on there. Ruckus was there.
Yeah, they had Ruckus.
Sky was there. Yeah, Famous B. Yeah, there was quite a few people. Yeah, and once again, short-lived, but it was a cool experience, and I got to work with Kleinrock. And now I just saw it. This is a cheap plug, but whoever has Pluto TV, and you go to UWF because they have it on there, like you can watch it at any time. On the cover of the show on Pluto TV, it's actually me on there with the belt, and I was like, "Well, isn't this a surprise?"
Well, let me get
10
my
years
royalties.
later. Yeah. Hit up Steve. Hey, can I get that Subway sandwich that you promised?
Hey, man. So we're gonna cut it off here, and we're gonna come back with part 2 with you, and
Okay.
we'll talk about Wrestling Society X and some other stuff, and then we'll talk about religion, because I do want to get into that with you, because that's very interesting, and I want to talk about what you're doing now, because what you're doing now is awesome, and I do want to cover that. So if you don't mind sticking around, and we'll go to the back room where we had you before, and we'll touch base with you, and we'll get you ready we'll schedule the next episode.
All right, let's get it.
All right, brother. All right, man. Thank you. Thank you for coming on, man.
Thank you.
All right.
All right. Well, that was part 1 with Babi Slymm. Yeah, make sure y'all follow us on Twitter, Instagram at MWA World. Subscribe, do all of that on YouTube, MWA Podcast Network. Also on Twitch, twitch.tv/MWA World. Other things that we can plug on the way out. Healthvape.com. Health Vape sells healthy vaping alternatives, so make sure you guys pick that up. Use our code MWA Pod and get that 10% discount.
And Sleeves, if you got all your athletic needs are met, if you just go on sleeves.com, you could get anything you need. If you're an athlete, knee pads, anything, compression shorts, compression shirts, anything you need, Sleeves got it. Get up in there, MWA Pod, for your 10% discount. And let's this Realm Network. Yeah, subscribe to it. You'll get all the best stuff from MWA Podcast Network has to offer. From Shooting the Shit Uncensored with Pierce Austin, Killing the Business with Kingpin Angel Medina, King Mega, and Glenn Sexton, and Get Funk with Alan Kwee Funk, and Knights of the Gimmick Table with your boys, the Dead Presidents. Check them out, man. That's everything we got to offer. You subscribe, you get the whole catalog. And if you don't, wait 4 weeks before it airs on YouTube. That's your call.
You're gonna be struggling, waiting to find out everything that you missed until it airs. But
also, if we do have a live show we have on Twitch, which is called Wrestling with Sports. I'm sorry. and that's us two with King Mega. And
we do that on Twitch and on YouTube.
Yeah. And there's also the NXT Roundup with Glenn Sexton and Pierce Austin, and the Funkin' Kingpin Show with Alan Kwee Funk and Kingpin Angel. Guys, like and subscribe. Get up in there. We're trying to get paid.
Yeah, we do. We appreciate everybody that tunes in, and thank y'all every week that have been watching. And if you're new to the show, go back, watch all the rest of them.
And if you got questions, don't be afraid to ask the questions on our Wrestling with Sports show. And for this, I'm sure you could email MWA Podcast Network. And if you have any questions
on Facebook, anything.
Yeah, just if you have questions for us, we're more than happy to answer them for you. And you guys have a great night, and we'll see you soon.
All right.